Welcome to Basic Fishing Bites, and today I'm going to run you through my winter dobbing baits. I have 3 baits that I go to, so 3 go-to baits, and we'll start with the first one, the ever faithful Warburton's Orange Stick Toasty Bread. Now, as you just heard me say, it's the Warburton's Orange Stick Toasty. This is the go-to bread that I get from when I go to the supermarket for a few reasons. When I go to the supermarket, the other breads that I've got in the past I've found are not as doughy, and I think that's really important. So when you punch this Warburton stick toaster and compress it, you can tell it's really doughy, and I found that it stays on the hook a lot better for a lot longer, and that's why I use the orange Warburton's toaster. Now, this is probably one of my go-to baits for dobbing this. The reason being is it's a nice and soft bait, so when I punch it, I compress it, gives it chance to stay on the hook while you're shipping about and shipping into where you're going to fish, where you think the fish are in the feed zone. Flick your rig in, and it's a bait bread that I'm also being a lot more patient with. So once I've compressed it, put it on the hook, shipped out and got to where I'm fishing and dobbing, I'll go in and I'll sit there, and what happens with that bread is it swells up really soft, like it sort of like drips off the hook, which is what you want, because I feel like when the F1 or a carp or any type of species of fish sees that bread, they just can't resist it. They suck it in, and you've nailed that fish also as well, because I feel like with it being so soft of a bait, once they suck it in, there's no way they can reject that hook and you've hooked the fish. And also with bread as well, you can use different size of bread with it, so different size punches by that. So I have a range of punches from 6mm right up to 12mm punch, and I can change different sizes during the session and try and work out what size punch them fish want. So that's why I use bread. That's my first bait and one of my go-to baits. And also, as I said, it's one of them baits where I'm really patient with it, so because you can't sort of move bread about because it'll come off. You want to be really patient with it. You can do little lifts and drops. What I like to do is when I'm fishing is I'll go in, I'll count to a minute, I'll give it 60 seconds, I'll lift me float out 3 or 4 inch, lower the rig back in. You can't, it's not one of them baits where I can lift the whole rig out, move to a different spot, flick it in, lift the whole rig out, move to a different spot, flick it in, because once it swells up and you do that, it'll just fall off the hook. But it is so deadly. Fish can't resist it. It's one of my go-to baits for winter dobbing. Now, my second bait, which is another one of my go-to baits for winter dobbing, is maggots. Red maggots generally are what I fish. Now, there's a few reasons why I like to fish red maggots. Probably over the last couple of years, it's probably one of the baits that I actually use more than anything for dobbing. Now, I'll speak to you a bit about how I hook the maggots. So when I'm fishing and dobbing with maggots, I either put a single maggot on, and when I put a single maggot on, I hook it sideways, side on, because you can imagine when you chuck some maggots in the water and you look at your maggots, they all fall sideways. So I feel like when you hook your maggot sideways, you're matching in with that bait that what they always see the fish all the time when them maggots falling sideways. They never fall down in a straight line down head or tail. They always fall sideways. So we'll hook it sideways, and when you flick your bait in, I feel like that F1 thinks that's not got a hook in it because it looks more natural, and you've got more chance that F1 or carp or any species sucking it in and you're again nailing that fish. So that's what I do when I fish single maggot. And then sometimes I'll fish double maggot. So when I fish double maggot, I like to hook the maggot pointy end, which is the thin end of the maggot. The reason why I do that is loads of hook points showing. Again, gives you more chance of hooking them fish when they suck the bait in. And then on them days where you're getting really pestered by a lot of small fish, I'll put a bunch of maggots on, or if I'm fishing for some big carp. A big carp sometimes can't resist a big bunch of maggots. But the main reason why I opt for maggots sometimes over the bread, as I explained when I was just fishing the bread, it's about being more patient with the breads in the same spot, little lifts and drops, timing your lift and your dropping. Where with maggots, what I'll do with maggots is I'll be more active, move about in my peg, because the main thing about when you're dobbing is keeping your eye out for signs. So if you see a blow or a fish top, you're like straight on it, flick on it straight away, and you can do that with maggots because maggots stay on the hook. And also I think with maggots, it's a bait that you want to catch fish falling through the water on your light strung out dobbing rig, so maggots are ideal for that. So it's something I always bring with me when I'm dobbing, maggots. And then my last one, my third bait that I use for when I'm dobbing, is corn. Now, it's not a bait that I actually use a lot because it is quite heavy, the corn, when you just get it out of the tin. But there's a little trick that you can do with your corn to make it really, really light. And honestly, it goes from probably quite a heavy falling bait to a really, really slow falling bait. If you squeeze your corn and squeeze all the inner out of the corn, you're left with a corn skin. And honest to God, sometimes when you fish just the corn skin, dobbing, hook that, it falls so slow through the water. When them F1s and carp want a really, really slow falling bait, corn skin is one of the best baits to use. It really is for dobbing. So that's what I do with my corn. And also, as well, again, on them days where you're getting mired with a lot of silvers and you've tried bread and they're still eating your bread, you've put quite a few maggots on and they're eating your maggots, your last resort is piece of corn. I feel like silvers won't suck in a piece of corn, and it just maximises that chance of your hook bait being in the water longer and you nailing a fish dobbing. So they're my 3 go-to dobbing baits for the winter time. So, I hope you're enjoying all the videos, because here at Catch More Media, we get so much satisfaction out of knowing that you guys are coming over and enjoying all our content, because that's why we do it, to give you the best content we can give you. And what we've done is we've teamed up with some tackle and bait companies to give you some fantastic discounts. All you have to do is head over to catchmorecodes.com, have a look at all them discount codes, there's loads on there, and hopefully you can get some fantastic discounts on some fantastic tackle and bait.